In many cases, your client doesn't know what they want exactly regarding monitoring system. So your DevOps team can start by creating a monitoring system vision and discuss it with the client later. Don't overthink that. Keep it simple. Here is an example from one of my DevOps teams to start with, if you like. This is a very raw example right from the field for you to get an understanding of how it can look in the project within Microsoft Azure. In this instance, the suggested monitoring system logically can be divided into two parts. First one is an accessibility monitoring. In our project, it was implemented through the Uptime Robot service. But there is a similar service in Microsoft Azure that allows checking service availability from different regions. Second one is a monitoring at the app service plan level. For sure, it's more complex. Here we have two main metrics showing the percentage of resource utilization: memory percentage and CPU percentage. Based on these two metrics, we can make decisions about manual or automatic scaling, horizontal scaling or vertical scaling. I mean, increasing available computing power. Regardless of the mechanism used, manual or automatic, it is worth monitoring these parameters in order to avoid failures due to lack of opportunity or vice versa, to allow an unreasonable increase in resource costs. Definitely, metrics is a crucial part of this monitoring system vision. So we have already mentioned two of them: memory percentage and CPU percentage. Additional metrics I would to draw your attention to are the number of 400th and 500th server errors. An increase in the number may indicate that something is wrong with the application or database, or that the application is under attack. By the way, you can go back to our reminder for the project manager on common error statuses. Also, on the application side, an important parameter is response time. Response time can also signal that the application is experiencing congestion or network problems. In order to make decisions in this case, it's necessary to analyze another important metric: the number of requests per unit of time. The next metric is DTU, or database transaction unit of the database. This is a value showing the total computing power of the database, and it is based on the utilization of CPU, memory, and read-write operations. Depending on the SKUs chosen, the tier can be performance bottleneck and cause slower response times. Database deadlock monitoring and successful connections. So on the application gateway side, we should monitor number of failed requests, response status by HTTP status, number of healthy and unhealthy hosts. These options show the status of the resources published to it. Also, on the API side of the application, it can be useful to have an endpoint that would give the healthy status, response code 200, if the application is running and working fine. At the same time, it could check the availability of the application database. Besides this, on the application gateway side, we should monitor number of failed requests, response status by HTTP status, number of healthy and unhealthy hosts. These options show the status of the resources published to it. Also, on the API side of the application, it can be useful to have an endpoint that would give the healthy status. Response code 200 if the application is running and working fine. At the same time, it could check the availability of the application database. After you discussed monitoring system vision with the client and got this vision approved, you can actually create these alerts and create a monitoring dashboard. And you might want to describe all of them and provide some comments and next steps after alert triggers. E.g., alert triggers when value exceeded 80% in 5 minutes. Send notification to Slack channel XYZ and email, let's say, xyz@xyz.com. You can see on the screen this simple alert metrics example from one of my projects.